Sixers win it! Wow!
Oh, man, Embiid just posterized Russell Westbrook.
You love the Philadelphia Eagles! Let me get a hell yeah!
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of Party on Broad. Today, we are breaking down another Sixers draft target, Deshaun Hyland. This is, guys, I'm telling you, you want to stick around for the show because this is a really interesting and fun guy. He's got tons of range. He's got great feel. And to break it down, I'm bringing in my man. He is Tiago. Follow him on Twitter at TScabby. Good morning, Tiago.
What's up, Chris? You left off his name, Bones, which may be the best nickname in basketball history. So that alone deserves a first-round draft grade.
We are breaking down Hyland's strengths, weaknesses, and fit with the Philadelphia 76ers. But you touched on it, Tiago. His nickname is Bones, which I will be calling him for the rest of this show. And I could just envision Mark Zumoff going, Bones for three! Yes! Just that alone for Mark Zumoff to give that call would be worth a first or second round selection. Let's start the tape, Tiago. Who is Bones Hyland?
So first off, I got to shout out to Delaware, the first state, because that's where Bones' hand is from, Wilmington, Delaware. And I've lived in Delaware through my childhood. So you got to shout out to anytime you get a Delaware product in the NBA scene, you got to give him a shout. Bones' hands, just a phenomenal human being. There's a great story. Well, not a sad story, but reflects how great of a person that he is about a house fire that, he tried to rescue his grandmother and his cousins from. Eventually they passed away, but it just showed the spirit and the person that he is to go into a burning house, putting his life on the line, everything on the line to save his loved ones. It was a remarkable story. I would definitely recommend people to check that out. But on the basketball court, he's something, man. A10 player of the year, made phenomenal leaps offensively from his freshman year. Average about 9 or so points a game to his sophomore year, which is close to 20 points a game. So you already start seeing the leaps offensively at a very young age, which is very, very exciting. But again, led the team in points, field goals, and most importantly, usage rate. So we'll talk about the strengths and weaknesses on the ball. The strengths are very, very glaring. But again, on the ball, the weaknesses are very, very glaring as well because, as his usage rate went up, his assist rate went down, his turnovers rate went right back up. So, we'll talk about what that is with the Sixers and in the NBA. But again, great human, a lot to like. The guy is fun, probably going to get some first round considerations, which is interesting because, the Sixers picking late in the first round, they're going to have some difficult decisions to make in terms of, do they go for more of a sure prospect? Do they go more for a high-level prospect with a high ceiling? And Bones kind of fits more along the lines of, a boom or bust, kind of take a home run swing and see what you get at the NBA.
All right, let's talk about strengths of Bones Hyland. Clearly, it's the reason you're all here, and it's the reason if you've been with us for the first 3 minutes of the show is by far his shooting and his range. Tiago, talk a little bit about the strengths of Bones Hyland.
Bones, we love it. On the ball, man, shot making is very interesting. The guy has a quick first step. Very explosive first step, long. So he does it, on the ball. He does it in pull up, a little step back. He's got a great feel in terms of changing directions with his dribble. So he takes you left, he takes you right, and then boom, he hits you with a jump shot. And the video showed, I was watching it in transition, man. This guy does not. Here's one from the logo, but in transition, he will just dribble up the court and not even hesitate, just pull up and bang. So the ability to really diversify his shot-making portfolio on the ball is something that's very interesting. And he also does it off the ball. So a lot of what you pull up, Chris, rightfully so, because he's most of an on-ball shot maker. But off the ball, a guy who can run off screens, again, very athletic, very quick, can really get separation and come off motion and shoot, which is, you see a lot of what the Sixers do a little bit with Seth Curry, that kind of situation. So, strength-wise, it's just the ability to really diversify his shooting portfolio and really extend the defense on the ball. I mean, you think about, again, we're not going to make any comparisons to Damian Lillard. He's not Damian Lillard. He's never going to be Damian Lillard. But you think about what Dame does to Portland's offense, right? And having the defense have to guard you up close to midcourt, that changes the entire dynamic of your offense, right? If the defense has you all the way up that far, so if the offense has the defense all the way up that far, I mean, you're talking about all kinds of space and all kinds of gravity that you can play off. So, Hyland can be that type of player for the Sixers and the NBA in general.
Offensively, this guy brings a lot to the NBA draft here. Like you look at his spot up shooting, nearly 70%. Transition offense, like you said, Tiago, a guy that you have to make sure you're covering as at the line, at the rim, at all times. He's got the handle, the first step to beat a man off the dribble. You look at the spacing that he provides; it is absolutely bananas. But I look at his potential in a pick and roll offense as a ball handler. Dude, his roll man scored nearly 90% of those opportunities last season. 90%. So my whole thing is, given his shooting, giving his first step, giving his solid handle, like this guy's potential in a pick and roll. I know he'll probably get just destroyed defensively, and we could talk about what his role is moving forward in the NBA. But my goodness, offensively, there's a lot to like. Let's talk about weaknesses, man. What are some of Bones Hyland's weaknesses?
Yeah, so I wrote down on my notes when I was watching him. I just wrote down feel. So to me, it just screams the lack of feel. And it could be a variety of things. It could be experience. He's relatively, still young and hasn't played a lot in college basketball. It could be a lack of spacing. Watch Atlantic 10 basketball, man, it's tough to watch. It's like you're watching Ivy League almost. So it could be a function of a lot of things. But, the Sixers drafted Maxey last year. And one of the things that I thought Maxey needed to work on as a ball handler was feel. And if you watched Maxey last night against the Hawks, you saw a guy who has definitely improved as a passer out of the pick and roll pretty quickly. And, that's something that if you can get out of Hyland early in his career will be a massive, massive win for his development because, on the ball, he just has very little feel, dribbles into traffic, has a loose handle and just very turnover prone. So just the ability to see the entire court and not get himself in situations where he's going to get in trouble, especially at the NBA level, where everything's just faster, quicker, and stronger. I think that's really where he needs to work on first and foremost. So all the turnovers come down, the assists go up, and you get a more well-rounded player. And, defensively, so before I go to defense, this is shooting. So it's a little bit deliberate for me. Yes, the range is there. It's fluid. The guy's going to be a good shooter, but it looks a little bit slow from catch to release. And you see right there, it's almost a little delayed when he lets go of the ball. So how is that going to look like, when guys are playing you closer and guys are bigger and longer? That's something I'm going to be interested to see. Not to say that he's not going to be able to get a shot off, because I think that he's going to be able to use his quickness and athleticism to do that. But, catch and shoot where guys are running at you with the perimeter, he's going to be quick enough for him to let go, or he's going to have to hesitate. And if you hesitate in the NBA, you're not getting that shot off anymore. So that's really what I'm interested to see. And then, Chris, I'm sure you talk about defensively. You just got to get stronger, man. The guy's 100 pounds. He's got to figure out a way to add a little bit more muscle so he's just not bullied out in the paint.
All right, let's go on to fit with the Philadelphia 76ers. I'm interested to see how you project his role in the NBA. Do you expect the ball to be in his hands? Do you expect him to fly off screens in a DHO? What is your expectation for Bones Hyland?
Yeah, if you're trying to get the most out of the player, and there's a lot on the ball, you have to give the ball in his hands. And I think he's the kind of guy, if you read about him, he's very open to coaching. So I was reading something about him, recognizing the fact that, yes, I made turnovers and I made kind of bad decisions. And part of that was just I didn't have a lot of space to work with in the half court. So he's very aware of what he needs to work on. I think if you draft him, right off the bat, to me, he's a guy who comes off your bench and you give him on the ball and you see what you have with him as a point guard, backup point guard. I love the fit as a guy who can spot up and can create motion in your offense. I think he can be a decent cutter off the ball. Again, he's not very long, but that quickness, that length element of it, run him towards the rim, see what that looks like, see if you have kind of unlocked that kind of element from his game. So overall, with the Sixers, I just love the ability to add range and ball handling and that sort of thing. And we talked about, having Isaiah Joe. We talked about today about, Cameron Thomas and Quentin Grimes, guys who can shoot from the logo. I mean, that is a lot of firepower well behind the arc. And you start thinking about changing the dynamic of the Sixers offense, which is right now is mostly in the paint. And you start, creating more and more space for Joel to operate in the paint. So that's really where I see the fit. And that's really where I hope he lands with the Sixers.
I love the fit. But obviously, we were talking before this chat and stuff, and before this video, and I'm all in on Bones Hyland. I think this would be a very good selection for the Sixers, just given his ball handling, his shot creation, his playmaking, his ability to just space the floor, and put pressure on a defense in transition. The defense is going to have to know exactly where this guy is every single time he's on the court, and that's what we need when it comes to Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. You look at even ISO scoring. When you look at these playoffs, you look at Tyrese Maxey and his ability to get his own shot, stepping up when Ben Simmons went on hiatus in Game 6. This is what we need. If this is the Doc Rivers offense we're going to be seeing the next 2-3 years, however long, this is what we like. You can put the ball in his hands, a microwave scorer off the bench. It's kind of similar to what Tyrese Maxey is, but you can never have enough ball handlers to put pressure on a defense, space the floor, and clearly, obviously, he's a one-position defender at the next level. That is without question. So what he is, I just see him as that Lou Williams type of guy that is just going to go bang, bang, bang in 15 minutes and give you a spark. And I think he could really thrive. And I see this guy just the fact that he's from Wilmington. The fact that the Blue Coats play in Wilmington, it seems like a lock. Just as this is almost a pure lock for the Sixers, just to bring him in, let him develop in the pick and roll, cut down on those turnovers, and let's see what we got in Bones Hyland, because I could see Sixers fans falling in love with this guy. Yeah, 1 point on the isolation scoring, Chris. 1.02 points per isolation possession. That's 85th percentile in the NBA at a high in college basketball. That's a high volume. So that's pretty legit. Yeah, this guy's 100% going to be pretty high on my draft board as we get ready for the draft next month. All right, let's wrap up the show. Tiago, where can we find you, man? What do you got going on? Yeah, man, we'll continue to these as we go along. You can find us here. You can find us doing some Sixers post-game stuff, and as the NBA season wraps up, hopefully with a Sixers title, we'll continue to put out more Sixers content. All right. That is the legend, Tiago. Be sure to follow him on Twitter at @TScabby. If you guys love the Sixers and you love the NBA draft, even if you don't love the Sixers, be sure to check out all of our scouting profiles on the NBA draft. We've covered at least 20 of them now. It's on our channel. Be sure to just search for the playlist, NBA draft or Sixers or Party on Broad. They are all there. Highlight reels with in-depth stats, scouting breakdowns with Tiago and myself. Awesome stuff. And we're going to ramp this up every Saturday morning as we get ready for the NBA draft. Make sure you follow my man, Tiago. Follow myself if you want, Mr. Crackpot. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Stay awesome.
Sixers win it! Wow! Oh, man, Embiid just posterized Russell Westbrook.
You love the Philadelphia Eagles. Let me get it.